In 1957, the USSR made two technological advancements. They had the first successful test of an intercontinental ballistic missile, or ICBM, and they launched the first satellite, Sputnik 1. These accomplishments were celebrated for the possibilities they created, but one group that did not celebrate was the American public, who had long regarded themselves as the most technologically advanced country in the world, and Sputnik 1 questioned that belief.
Well, Dr. Newell, what about the vital question that everybody is thinking about? Why and how did the Russians beat us to the draw?
What went wrong? How did a nation of backward peasants forge so dramatically ahead of us in the race to space?
They also feared what the satellite was being used for as it passed over the U.S., and the nuclear attacks that could be possible using an ICBM. President Eisenhower urged the public not to fear the satellite and told them that America was not far behind. The government recognized that it had allowed the Soviets to best them, and they were determined for it not to happen again. But it did. A lot. Another blow came 1 month later when Sputnik 2 was launched. This time, the satellite was accompanied by a dog, Laika, the first living thing in space. In a great showing of American resilience and pride, the Navy built the first American satellite, the Vanguard TV-3, and launched it that December. This launch showed the Soviets that Americans were just as advanced and would continue to... Ooh, that's kind of awkward. The rocket made it a mere 2 feet off the ground before exploding spectacularly. Back to the drawing board. And draw they did. Recovering from the setback, the Americans developed a new rocket, and in January of 1958, Explorer 1 was launched. The launch of Explorer 1 wasn't just a reply to Sputnik, it had its own scientific importance, and told Russia, "Yo, you aren't the only one with rockets." Explorer 1 was the first satellite to carry scientific instruments. Its instruments measured the radiation of Earth's orbit, providing valuable information and making the mission a success. Explorer 1 also influenced the creation of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. The next several years were filled with historic firsts. In 1959, primates Abel and Baker launched into space, and their survival boosted optimism about sending men and women to space. Later that year, the Soviets launched Luna 2, which was purposely crashed into the moon, proving mankind is capable of crashing into the moon. Then, on April 12, 1961, after months of grueling preparation, Yuri Gagarin, a Soviet, is the first man to go to space. This marked a major breakthrough in space exploration. A month later, Alan Shepard became the second man to go to space.
4, 2, 1. Lift off. All right, lift off.
Then, on May 25, 1961, President John F. Kennedy made a stunning speech before Congress.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal, before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth. No single space project in this period will be more impressive to mankind or more important for the long-range exploration of space, and none will be so difficult or expensive to accomplish.
Kennedy delivered another rousing speech at Rice University the very next year.
Why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
But tragedy struck, and Kennedy did not live to see his dream come to fruition. Finally, in 1969, after countless hours of research, hundreds of launches, and billions of dollars, mankind made its way to the moon. 600 million people tuned in from around the globe to watch the historic event as Apollo 11 took off from Cape Canaveral, Florida.
We have a liftoff, 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Almost 4 days after the launch, Neil Armstrong made his famous first steps on the moon and changed history forever.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Sputnik 1 and the ensuing space race opened the door for all future space research and exploration. The space race being seen as a competition allowed for many other historic firsts and for barriers to be broken because the advances made in science were only possible because of the two countries pushing each other to their technological limits. SpaceX and Blue Origin, companies at the forefront of advanced space research and development, are indebted to the work done during the space race. The space race paved the way, and without it, mankind would still be confined to its planet.